this global stage in a triple main event. Who will be victorious? Who will leave as a champion?
A champion is always on. It's a 24/7, 365 state of mind.
The pressure is unrelenting. The stakes are beyond high.
At Night of Champions, Solo and I do what we always do. We represent.
The undisputed tag team titles come home to the bloodline.
Roman, you manipulator! You want these championships! You can't have them!
Being a champion is more than a way of life. It is your life. And man, can it change your life?
Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, one of these men will be crowned the new World Heavyweight Champion.
With the eyes of the world watching, history calls. And the answer will be deafening.
Cody Rhodes! Look at this face! I want to fight!
Brock Lesnar has unfinished business with Rhodes. Cody Rhodes has sustained serious damage to his left arm.
I am going to fight. Brock Lesnar.
In this kingdom, this is what it's all about. Are you ready? I said,
Are you ready?
this is a night of champions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the least requested, least demanded, and the least downloaded wrestling podcast, PCW. This could be a long podcast, so strap in and shut up and don't be a little bitch about it.
This is a master's.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of PCW. I am your host, Wayne, also known as Semi-Dry Chicken, and in the commentary booth with me tonight. Hey, Dre, what's up?
Yo, what it do, PCW crew?
All right. And also joining us, Doyle. What's up?
Oh, it's me. It's a Doyle. Getting ready to take a little trip into the Saudiverse.
Ooh, that afternoon pay-per-view. The afternoon of champions, more or less, instead of night of champions. It was very weird, being in the afternoon. We had to squeeze in a 1 p.m. pay-per-view in the middle of a Saturday. That's very odd. I had to cancel some plans because I had a pay-per-view to watch, and people were like, in the afternoon? I'm like, in the afternoon, unfortunately.
I'm not mad about it, to be honest with
you. Right? I'm not mad about it. I had to cancel some things. It's no big deal. But, pay-per-view wise, I kind of wasn't mad about it because now we could do our episode and then we can upload it tonight. And, right now it's a little after 8. And right, the pay-per-view would be starting right now, right?
Yeah, normally.
Normally. And we'd be up pretty late. And we sometimes we record pretty late into the night. But, we're going to get this done out of there, right when it's the hashtags are hot. So
firsties.
Firsties. Dre, take it away.
All right. Well, like you said, we're reviewing Night of Champions, which took place earlier today from the Jeddah Superdome in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Go ahead and jump right into the first match. They kicked off the show with the World Heavyweight Championship match to determine or crown our brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Match between AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, with Seth Rollins coming out on top to be crowned our new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, to me, the outcome of this match was pretty predictable. I think we all probably figured Seth Rollins was going to win the match. The only thing the match itself, of course, was a good match, as to be expected from wrestlers of this caliber. The one thing that did surprise me about it personally was how much Rollins kind of dominated the match. And I don't say that to say that AJ Styles got squashed, because he clearly did not get squashed. He got some really dope spots in, like the backflip he did off the turnbuckle to drive Seth Rollins' head into the match, and that, I don't know if that was a brain buster or something he did on the apron to Seth Rollins that looked absolutely sick.
That was a rough spot too.
Exactly, yeah. It looked nasty. But despite those few moments here and there, it kind of seemed like Seth had a counter for almost every attempt of offense that AJ put up. So that one thing kind of surprised me. And the only time Seth really appeared to be vulnerable in the match was when he was quote unquote injured after his dive to the outside, where he injured his knee, which allowed AJ to take advantage of that and get a decent amount of offense in. But other than that, like I said, I thought it was a good match. Obviously, you got two top tier wrestlers of that caliber. Obviously, they're going to put on a really good match, and I was thoroughly entertained. If I had to give this match a rating, I'll give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. So let's go to you, Doyle. What did you think of the match?
I thought it was good, but it's not the performer's fault. But I was expecting a real banger. You know what I mean? Especially out of these two. And I don't think we quite got that. Not to say that it was a bad match by any means. Not trying to say that. And I think maybe these two kind of, I don't want to say got crushed under, but we're somewhat smothered by the weight of expectation. You know what I mean? Sometimes a match like this, it's so hard to live up to how much you hype it up in your brain, before it actually happens. What a weird choice to put this one on first. I thought that was kind of odd. And I guess we'll talk about this more as we talk about more matches, but the crowd was so weird for the whole pay-per-view. But it was like they weren't quite warmed up yet, I get putting this on first, but I don't at the same time. I'm looking at the rest of the card. I'm not sure what I would have put in its place. Maybe Trish and Becky instead, but I don't know. Seth's really starting to channel Gorgeous George. If you've ever seen some of the old Gorgeous George clips from the 50s and 60s, I think. I would give it 3.5 as well. I think we all expected Seth to win. The only reason I thought AJ had much of a chance was because everyone expected Seth to win. I thought they might throw a swerve at us. It was a good match. It just didn't quite live up to the hype, I don't think.
Yeah, I will say at one point during the match, I did start to think that maybe AJ would pull it out once I noticed like how much offense Seth was getting in. I was like, he's being pretty dominant in this match so far. Is this setting up for AJ to make the comeback and get the win? So for a second during the match, I did think they might actually put it on AJ Styles, but obviously they didn't. So Wayne, what were your thoughts on the match?
I'm kind of up there with you guys, like a 3.5 for me as well. I mean, it was a great match, but not the best of the night. The last time I think I remember seeing these two guys going at it for a title was May in 2019 for the Universal Championship at Money in the Bank. And, then Seth Rollins had AJ Styles' number. But whenever you see these two guys in the ring together, they're going to deliver a very good match. I mean, they got 20 minutes on the card. I heard rumor the reason why they opened the show is because Seth Rollins had to get on a plane and fly out of there to go film some scenes for Captain America: New World Order. New World Order. So there was a lot of great spots in this. Seth taking that suicide dive and twisting his knee, and then he kind of sold it the whole match. And that's when I thought, oh shit, like maybe AJ would win this. But it just didn't make sense. Like, why would you have a guy from SmackDown win the Raw title? But then again, we also have the Women's Raw Championship on SmackDown and vice versa. So I guess anything can happen. It just wouldn't make sense, because then that means what? You're gonna not put him with the OC? You're gonna break up the OC then, or you're gonna draft the whole OC over to Raw? It just, a lot of it just didn't make sense. And right now, I feel like Seth has been on like a hot streak. Like if anybody's with the fans, so if anybody's gonna be winning that title and who's really over with the fans right now, it's Seth Rollins. He came out in this weird cheetah outfit, weird cheetah outfit. But like he just has, right now we're in a point in time where entrance music's if you have something catchy like Shinsuke, like Becky Lynch, like Seth Rollins, like if you have something, Cody Rhodes, something that's catchy that the fans can sing along to, I mean, it's fucking golden right now. And Seth Rollins has one of those themes,
Definitely.
That, loves it.
Yeah, I remarked earlier to somebody that Seth Rollins' entrance theme is almost like a cheat code, because it's so damn simple that everybody could just easily get into it and do that little chant at the top of their lungs, and it almost makes whoever he's facing in a match, it almost makes them look small by comparison.
It does.
If they don't have something that measures up.
Yeah, and now we're kind of seeing it. I saw a video of it happening in the subway in France. People singing his theme music. It's just so catchy.
It's funny, but you need more than that, though, right? Like, remember Fandango? His was always fuck.
But Fandango had us with his music, but he didn't have us with his on the mic skills, with his in-ring ability. But another thing is Seth Rollins is there week to week. He's always there. So as a champion, I'm happy that we're getting a champion. Not saying that AJ Styles wouldn't be, but I'm happy that at least one of these two are guys who are workhorses who we're gonna see every week. And yeah, I know people are a little worried. Oh, they might not put the title on him because he's filming something, in Marvel. Yeah, but he's not playing a main role. He's maybe doing a few scenes. So they're not taking Seth Rollins away from us, for a long term.
Yeah. Not anytime soon, at least.
Yeah.
I'm also not expecting him to hold this title for a super long period of time.
And
I think it might actually be comically short. They might overcorrect and you might see 5 guys hold this title, by the end of the year or something silly like.
But we need some title changes. Granted, we got some tonight or this afternoon, but in the long run, besides the tag team titles and the Universal and WWE, we need some title changes to make things interesting, to get new feuds out there.
I'd be surprised if he hangs on to it past SummerSlam.
Yeah. But with him holding this gold, it opens up a whole new opportunity of feuds. Maybe people like Drew McIntyre won't be so pissy, and it'll give him something to do, and maybe he'll actually re-sign his contract because, hey, there's a world title on Raw you can actually compete for that you may have a chance to actually win.
All right. Well, since we're talking about the world heavyweight championship picture as a whole, let me pose this question to y'all: can Seth Rollins give the world heavyweight championship the credibility it needs to change its present perception as a secondary title?
I think so. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's going to take some defenses. It's going to take TV time. You know, what the fans want is fresh feuds. What the fans want is we want our champion there. I mean, we went how long without Roman even on TV after WrestleMania? You know, we didn't see him until, this late pay-per-view. He missed Backlash altogether. Mm-hmm. I mean, my opinion is if you hold the gold, it doesn't matter what gold is, you should be there. You want time off? Then drop the belt. Like, it's just, I feel like it's kind of selfish too, because, Roman is stacking up these days, but it's easy to do that when you're not there defending the title all the time.
Has he defended since WrestleMania?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. But...
He hasn't. No, he hasn't had a single title defense.
I would expect Seth to, if not every week, at least every other week, be defending this title, which is why I don't think he's going to hang on to it for very long.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
To answer your question, Trey, will he? Sure, he will. But it's also going to be incumbent on the next person and the next person and the next person. Because I think we're going to see a bunch of quick changes with this belt, at least at first.
Right.
Yeah, see, in that regard, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to see quick changes. Now, I don't think Seth Rollins is going to have a reign as long as Roman's by any means. But I could see Seth Rollins at least holding this title through SummerSlam. Because, again, a part of the complaints that, we may be sitting here complaining now about how long Roman's title reign has been and how it's kind of monopolized it and taken all the suspense out of everything. But I remember in the past, especially during the Attitude Era, where titles would seemingly change all the freaking time, that people didn't like that as much either. They were like, people would complain the title would just go to anywhere. It could go anybody. Somebody could take the title at any given moment, and people didn't like that. Some people wanted the longer championship reigns to give the titles more credibility, to make them feel more important as opposed to something that's just passed around like a hot potato. Now, maybe they've gone too far in the opposite direction with Roman Reigns, so I can see them striking some sort of balance in the middle where Seth Rollins will get a decent reign of at least a few months before he drops the title. I can see him holding it at least till SummerSlam. At least.
I don't see him holding it much past that. I don't know who he's going to face at SummerSlam, but I can very easily see him losing it at SummerSlam.
Possibly. I could, maybe SummerSlam, maybe he holds it up till Survivor Series. It's just, I think we'll have to see how they decide to book him and what kind of feuds they put him in and such.
Yeah, I mean, also we're going to have a Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank in a couple weeks. Is that person going to be naming it Seth? Are they going to go after Roman? Who knows? I mean, God, that could go a million directions.
But overall, great opening match for the night,
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a good way to start off the pay-per-view.
And they did kind of a callback to the famous Sheldon Benjamin HBK.
Phenomenal forearm into a super kick.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. We got to see
AJ ain't jumped nowhere near as far as Seth did, though.
We got to see AJ Styles use the pedigree, which was really weird. Cool. Tonight was about wrestlers using other wrestlers' finishers.
Is there a spot where the ref put Seth's shoulder on the mat, and then Graves was like, AJ making an adjustment to get Rollins' shoulders down, and it was it really looked like the refs did that, but I didn't go back and rewatch this match a second time, so I might be hallucinating. Did anyone else catch that? No,
I did not. No.
All right. I didn't do a ton of acid earlier, so that might be part of it.
All right. Well, moving on to the next match, we saw Trish Stratus take on Becky Lynch with This was a good match, at least a decently good match. Trish, to me, she showed that she could still go with today's top wrestlers.
Yep.
She by no means was perfect. There were some botches and some missed spots in this match, but I'd be more willing to chalk that up to ring rust. Trish Stratus, she may be back on television, but she's not wrestling every week. This is, I think, hell, since she's been back, I think this has been maybe only her second match since her and Lita came back on television together with when Becky and Lita won the world tag titles.
Yeah.
So I can
she was
chalk
in
that
the
up.
match when they lost the title.
Right, she was in the match when they lost, and I think this is the only other match she's had since then was that
WrestleMania.
Yeah. So two matches. So yeah, I can chalk up some of the botches to ring rust and just not being in that conditioning, but nevertheless, she did look good, and Becky looked understandably like the stronger of the two, being that she is the prime competitor, the one who is active and one of the top wrestlers in the women's division. To me, the best part of this match, though, was the finish, which saw Zoe Stark come out to interfere and hit Becky Lynch with her finisher, which I believe they're calling the Z360, I think was the name they gave to her finisher, which wound up busting
impressive
Becky Lynch.
looking move, too.
Yes, it's a pretty decent looking move. Flipping them over and then, bam, hitting them with the knee. It's not a bad finisher at all. They wound up busting Becky Lynch's nose, which allowed Trish to hit her with another kick and get the finish. Get the win. I like that booking of the finish because I figured this feud was going to continue beyond this pay-per-view, but they had to find a way to do it while keeping Becky Lynch strong, because I don't think it would look good if Trish just beat her clean. And Trish just cheating, sure, that could have worked to win, but they decided to take it up a notch by bringing another person in to assist Trish in the form of Zoe Stark. That works great for her because now she can get the rub from Trish. It puts Zoe Stark in a prime television spot in a premier feud with someone the caliber of Becky Lynch. I'm pretty sure at some point in this feud we'll see a Zoe Stark Becky Lynch match. So it's a nice way to get one of your newer stars that you've brought up from NXT some prime television spot, some prime television real estate, putting them in a feud with premier superstars, and continue the current feud with Trish and Becky. I think it just works on all levels. So I like the booking of the match overall. Where were you on it, Wayne?
You know what? Like at first, I was this match didn't really have me going. I was kind of distracted from this match. I don't know. It didn't have me. But the end, you're right. The end is what kind of made the match. They had a great finish to it. You could see Trish's ring rust. Totally understandable. She's been out of the business for quite some time. I mean, the last time we saw her put on a decent singles match was against Charlotte. It's great to see, this feud with her and Becky. I kind of hope it this may be the end of it. I don't think it's going to be. Maybe we'll see now Zoe Stark feud with Becky, and then you got kind of Trish in her corner. And with Zoe Stark interfering, this is a new NXT. That's a huge rub for this girl. I don't know about you guys. I just never had interest in Zoe Stark, even in NXT. She just doesn't wow me enough to give a crap. But if she's going to have Trish in her corner, it's going to definitely turn her character around and probably make her a hell of a lot more interesting.
I like Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
The few times I've seen her in NXT, she looked good. And let's not forget, she had a pretty strong showing in the Royal Rumble earlier this year as well.
Right.
I was going to say, as someone who doesn't watch NXT, the little that I've seen of her, I've been pretty impressed with her.
Yeah. I was impressed that they got 14 minutes, 50 seconds out of this. Actually, this whole pay-per-view, this is the most amount of women's matches we've ever had at a Saudi show, ever, which was pretty impressive, to say the least. I was like, holy crap, we have a lot of women's matches on this.
They used to not have any when they went to Saudi.
Not have any at all. And then we would have, I think maybe the first one was Natalia and Lacey Evans. You know, in these type of matches, they have to be covered, like basically like head to toe, or neck to toe. So it's kind of weird for me. Like I even commented on the Discord to see like Trish all covered up, you know.
I dug Becky's Kill Bill look though.
Yeah, Becky had a Kill Bill outfit. I thought that was pretty cool. Which I think I've seen her. She's worn similar Kill Bill outfits before. You know, her and Seth Rollins, they you know, they probably share the same goddamn closet going through outfits. I mean, I can only imagine what their closets look like at home. But you know, I'm kind of glad it wasn't a clean pin. And you know what? I was genuinely shocked. Like I was like, oh shit! Like I did not see this coming. Like if we would have done the predictions, I don't think any of us would have seen that coming. Like, oh, there would have been interference. I never would have thought of any type of interference.
Definitely not the interference aspect.
Exactly.
Yeah, I fully expected Trish to win.
You know,
I wouldn't have seen the interference.
So like for me, it's like 2.5, almost a 3. But like for the shock aspect of this match, you know, this is also a match that had no title on the line. You know, which was interesting. Which was, you know, for a night of champions, we got a match here with 2 women that had no title involved. But yeah, Doyle.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it overall. Trish clearly, I mean, she's not leader bad, but she's clearly lost a step, which is to be expected. I think Becky did a pretty good job of trying to cover up for some of those shortcomings. 2 things in particular I noticed. There was a spot where Becky was sitting on the top rope, and Trish did like a handstand to get her legs up around her neck, and she did not make it. You could pretty much see Becky grab her legs and kind of pull her up. And that Stratisfaction at the end, she was way far away from the ropes. Becky was kind of clearly doing all the work on that. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I expect to see these 2 in the ring again, probably at SummerSlam. I would expect Zoe Stark there to have a program with Bex in the meantime. I like them pairing up these NXT stars with a veteran or throwing them into a group. I mean, I guess you don't want to do that with all of them. It kind of makes it a little predictable or formulaic or whatever. But if we sat down and tracked, you know, the ones that they stick by themselves versus the ones they stick with a veteran, I would bet the ones with a veteran end up doing better overall. Just because it's something to latch on to, you know what I mean? When you see, you know, like an Austin Theory, I've said this a million times, how much he has benefited. You know, like think of the people he's been in the ring with in such a short amount of time. You know, just the exposure of being next to Trish Stratus is going to do, you know, things that, you know, beating up a bunch of jobbers could never do for Zoe Stark. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I like that. I didn't have a problem with the finish. I saw Trish winning, but I wouldn't have seen the interference or had a pick of who it would have been. Is every Canadian required to have a sharpshooter in their move set? Like it's just like what the fuck every single time. But yeah, I would give this about 3 stars. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good.
Yeah, it's the national move of Canada.
I guess so.
That's how they greet each other. Handshake and a sharpshooter. Yeah.
Nice looking sharpshooter, eh?
Right. Yeah. I think, like I said, this can do really well for Zoe Stark, provided that she can take advantage of it. Because again, they can put you into position, but it's still ultimately up to the wrestler to take advantage of it and make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, remember when NXT was like a segment on Raw, and they would have all of the rookies had a veteran they were assigned to or whatever, right? Sometimes they get along, and sometimes they hate each other.
I remember that. That was a long time ago. Daniel Bryan.
But that really works. That really works.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where this feud goes. Again, I think we might actually get
them at SummerSlam.
Yeah, but I think it might actually be a tag match rather than a Becky versus Trish one-on-one. I think we might get I think Lita might return before SummerSlam because remember,
before we get a stipulation.
Yeah. I mean, Lita still got to get her get back because Trish was the one who took her out. So I could see Lita returning before SummerSlam, and we get a Becky and Lita versus Trish and Zoe Stark at SummerSlam.
Well, that's an idea for sure.
Yeah. So, next up after the Raw Women's Championship match, after the Trish and Becky match, I'm moving ahead on my notes. We had the Intercontinental Championship match with Mustafa Ali challenging the champion Gunther. Yeah, this match went pretty much exactly as I expected it to go. Gunther dominated. Ali got his one little hype moment for the crowd with a near fall, which Gunther obviously kicked out of. Gunther finished him off after that with one last moment of defiance from Ali before Gunther just powerbombed him to hell and said, "Get the hell out of my ring." I give this maybe 2 stars out of that. It seems to me that the booking of this match made no sense. It seems to me that the only reason why this match was booked is because WWE thought that Mustafa Ali was going to get the same type of pop in Saudi Arabia that Zelina Vega got at Backlash in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. It seems to me that they were banking on that, which is quite ignorant on WWE's part. They clearly just had a very simple-minded thinking of, Mustafa Ali, he is Arab. We are in Arab country. He will get Arab pop. That's not how this works, WWE. I'm going to need y'all to do a little bit better. I'm going to need y'all to think just a little bit more about that. Because clearly we saw later on in the show who the Saudi people really resonated with. But we'll get to that later. So I'll get y'all's thoughts on it, and I'll also throw this question out there to y'all. My question to y'all, in addition to your thoughts on this match, is who on Raw can offer a legitimate challenge to Gunther for the IC title? Doyle, let's begin with you.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Ali goes, they've put him through the fucking ringer so much, like, I don't think anything can overnight get him, over huge as a babyface, no matter what the circumstances. I think it would take weeks and weeks and months to build him up. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. I kind of feel like he has Dolph Ziggler syndrome. Like he's a fine performer, but like no matter what they've done with him, it just does not connect. I don't like this Bo Dallas 2.0 fucking routine he's been doing recently. Fucking Retribution. Remember that fucking hot garbage? Mm-hmm. He asked for and did not receive his release. I don't know if he's just like treading water till his contract ends. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. But yeah, I mean, how stupid of it to think that, oh, he's Muslim, he'll automatically be over. Like, why would you think that? It's so stupid. Yeah, but having said that, I expected he was going to get more of a comeback than he did, and there might be a wow, he might actually do this moment or two, and there just wasn't. I mean, it continues to put over Gunther, but I don't know what the hell it does for Ali. I thought he might, look really valiant in a loss, but then that didn't really materialize. Who can be a legitimate threat to Gunther? Maybe this will be a cop-out of an answer, because we don't know when he'll be back. But what about Big E? I might put him in there as a guy that could come in and maybe legitimately pose a threat to Gunther. But yeah, like 2.5 stars for the match. Yeah, it was just a match,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wayne.
8 minutes and 35 seconds. He lasted that long. The second this match was booked, we all know why, and the second it was also booked, I tweeted "Rest in peace, Ali," because like where do you get off getting a title shot against Gunther? I mean, what have you done besides win that battle royal, which was lucky, by the way? It's just he hasn't done anything in his career as of late to justify him being put all the way up there against Gunther. But at the same time, he's run through the roster to the point where, we're trying to think of him to go against. And, I think of guys like, okay, how about Shinsuke? No, he's beat Shinsuke before. I believe, isn't he the one who beat Shinsuke for the title?
I think it was it? No, was it Shinsuke he took the title? I thought it was Ricochet he beat for the title.
It might be Ricochet, yeah. But still, he beat Drew McIntyre. Other guys like The Miz, Matt Riddle, don't stand a chance. I'm looking through the list, and there's nobody here that I could nobody. Maybe Bronson Reed, maybe. I don't know. Akira Tozawa? No. There's nobody. Johnny Gargano? I don't know.
Maybe. I would not write off Johnny Gargano.
Yeah.
As he exists now, no, he probably wouldn't stand a chance if he took him on Monday. But if rumors are to be believed, and that his clique with him and Candice and
Andy Hartwell,
right?
Ciampa comes back.
Let's get if that gets built up. Right. If that stable gets built up, then I could see Johnny Gargano being elevated to a point where he could be seen as a legitimate contender.
But this is just one of those matches. The second it was booked, we already knew who was going to win.
Exactly.
It's just look at the guys who was put before him, before Ali, that just got crushed, and this guy is holding the Intercontinental title for the longest time in the modern day era, they say, and could possibly hold it for the longest period ever. I mean, has he surpassed the Honky Tonk Man already?
Not yet.
He's got a little
they said it. Yeah, they said it when he was coming to the ring that the only two people who have held the title longer than him are Randy Savage and Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, if they're looking to set modern day records, he's probably the guy to do it. And if he does, and when he does, he lose it, he's gonna make a huge star and out of that next person. And I would like to see him in the world title picture. I just thought of what Jinder Mahal and Indus Sher. I mean, that's another group that he hasn't touched yet. Ugh. But
well, they're supposed to do a pay-per-view in India.
Yeah.
But that one, I expect Jinder and Roman Reigns in a Punjabi prison match.
Yeah, or even for the world title even. But I can't think of anybody. I really can't. I mean, this is the problem, where you hit a wall with guys like this, and you basically ran through everybody, and anybody who's not part of a stable kind of really has no fucking chance against Imperium. And there's rumors going around that they're going to be adding another member to Imperium. They're not. It doesn't look like they're too fond of three people stables. I mean, Judgment Day look like they're adding another person. They've been looking at, who is it? JD? Who am I thinking of that they were checking out
with Judgment Day?
McDonough?
The Irish guy?
Yeah, and then there's another guy on NXT that's not up yet, but they were looking at putting him in Imperium. So I'm all for that. But
something? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
He's Scottish, but he's Israeli also or something.
Yeah, I don't. The name escapes me, but the more you add to these stables, it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be kind of hard for anybody to take the strap off this man. Even though, Imperium really hasn't interfered in Gunther's matches. He's been just crushing them. He doesn't need people interfering in his matches. He just straight up crushes them. I mean, I kind of miss the Sheamus Drew McIntyre kind of feud, seeing these big guys, big meat slapping around. So you know what? I agree, Doyle. Big E. If Big E comes back eventually, he is definitely in the top 5 to be somebody I think who could take the title off of him.
I mean, we're over a year. Right?
Yeah.
For Gunther?
I think so.
Yeah. No, not quite. Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I've been looking it up now while you guys are talking. Which, side note, Michael Cole made a mistake in the broadcast because I think he said that the only people to hold the title longer than Gunther were Randy Savage and Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, I think Don Morocco.
Don Morocco has a longer reign, and Pedro Morales.
Pedro, yeah.
Michael, you idiot!
So he left off 2 names, but he's quick. He will be at 1 year on June 10th. That's when he'll hit the year mark. So that'll be 365 days. So if he holds it into SummerSlam, he'll pass Don Morocco and probably get close to what is he, July 60 days? Yeah, possibly pass Randy Savage if he holds it till SummerSlam.
And how long has Big E been out? When did he get hurt?
Big E got injured maybe around March of last year.
Yeah, it was like before WrestleMania or right after WrestleMania.
I think it was right after WrestleMania he got injured. So it's been a little over a year since Big E's injury, but at the same time, we also have not heard of any kind of updates.
Sure, and Kofi
recently.
is also recovering from a surgery. I think his ankle.
Right.
So I mean, they might even if Big E's cleared, they might be saying, we're going to wait for Kofi and bring them both back at the same time." Who knows?
Possibly. I think given the significance of Big E's injury, though, I still wouldn't put any kind of timetable on his return. I think they waited a year before they even did an evaluation.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting any further rehab or anything else after that. So
I was impressed. Yeah. Ali got him up for a power bomb. And, like him or not, but Ali did a really nice 450 splash.
He did. That was probably
that was
best
the
spot
only
in the
moment
match.
where I was like, oh, maybe. But nah,
Gunther did the Rhea Ripley pin. And I was like, ugh.
Yeah, like I said, that was the hype spot where he got the power bomb and then the splash. And I was like, okay, that was for the crowd, giving them the moment where he thinks he's going to win. And yep, kicked out. All right, that's so much for that.
I was a terrible line of the night from Michael Cole when he did that drop kick. Michael Cole's like, drop kicks like a T-Rex. If the T-Rex drop kicked like that, the dinosaurs wouldn't have been extinct.
Right. That was stupid.
So speaking of the crowd, right? Did it sound like there was a lot of pumped in noise to you guys? Because like the crowd would be chanting. You'd hear chanting, and then they would show the crowd, and nobody's mouth was moving. It's just like some of it felt real, and the stadium is so weird. It's the biggest dome that doesn't open in the world, right? But there was only like 30,000 there or something like that. For contrast, the Superdome in New Orleans, where they've had WrestleMania, they seat about 65,000 in there, and it's about half as big.
Yeah.
I think the crowd seems so spread out and so. I mean, I don't know if it's more reserved culture there, kind of, but it felt like a lot of pumped in crowd noise to me.
I didn't get the impression that they had pumped in crowd noise. I think because to me, if they wanted to pump in crowd noise, I think we would have heard much more involvement in some of these matches as opposed to the crowd coming off as quiet as it did. If anything, I think it may have been more of a product of what you just explained, of it being such a large venue but having such a low seat capacity that there just simply isn't enough voices there to fill out the venue. So I think some of those spots where we did get some crowd reaction, I think they were genuine.
Like, I don't think there was an upper deck or anything. It didn't look like it looked like a huge cavern with not a lot of people in it. Even, I mean, 30,000 people is a lot of people.
I mean, hell, if they were going to pump in crowd noise, you'd think they would have pumped it in from Mustafa Ali's entrance to make it seem like the crowd actually gave a shit about him.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
All right. So yeah, I think that's it for that match. Mm-hmm. We can move on to the next match, which was the Raw Women's Championship match featuring Asuka, the challenger, taking on Bianca Belair, the champion. And honestly, this match to me was pretty disappointing given the caliber of wrestlers that we had. Asuka and Bianca are top women's wrestlers in the company. We know they can both go in a match. Their WrestleMania match to me was much better than this match here. This match, it seemed kind of sloppy at times. The crowd definitely didn't seem all that into it. At some points, it kind of almost seemed like the crowd was a little bit more on Asuka's side than they were on Bianca's side, but they were also kind of just on the whole thing. So the match itself was, to me, was pretty disappointing until we got the surprise finish of Asuka defeating Bianca Belair and becoming our new Raw Women's Champion. I did not see that coming. That legitimately surprised me. Wayne, what did you think of the match?
I'm not one for WrestleMania rematches. The feud that we had for WrestleMania, the build was so shitty. The build up for this match was a lot better, but the match didn't deliver until the end. Now we saw something a little different. I mean, we've seen Asuka finish matches before with, doing the taking a page out of the great Muda's book and spitting in the face of her victims. But this time, she spit in her hand and raked her across the eyes. That was definitely different. Ending her 420-day reign. And I'm assuming that's why Bianca probably retained at WrestleMania and Backlash, so she could make that number. So now that we have the title change, do we think that we'll see this title maybe swap to a different brand, or are they going to continue with this title on the opposite brand? It's weird. It seems like the crowd, since the last pay-per-view, has slowly been turning on Belair. I don't know if it's just she's getting stale with the people, with the fans. The same old shtick. We've seen this with wrestlers, but there's rumors going around that her and the Street Profits might turn heel this year, which I'm all for.
Let me ask you that then. Now that Bianca's not the champion, what do you think is next for her?
I think that is the thing for her. You guys booed me and I got screwed out of the title. I totally see taking this down that path. It's like, if there's a chance for her to turn heel, this is it. This is the seed that's planted. She lost her title. She got screwed out of it, and the fans aren't backing her. I don't think it was really pumped in boos for this at all. And it's hard to boo somebody like Asuka too. We're all fans of Asuka in some way, shape, or form. As a heel, as a face. But and it sucks that Asuka didn't get her WrestleMania win, because she never does. She never gets her WrestleMania win. She gets the Rumble win or whatever. She'll get so close and get that title shot at WrestleMania, but she never wins it. And she's had to wait just a little bit longer. The other week, what was it on SmackDown? Bianca Belair got sprayed in her face, and I think she just oversold it, more than anybody I've ever seen get misted in the face. And now there's, they said it was, it's chili pepper or something that was.
I thought that was kind of fun that they were like, she's trying out a new kind.
Yeah. She really got, she really sold the shit out of it. And this one, she got raked in the eyes, but a few seconds later, it looked like she didn't have anything on her face, but she was selling it like it was burning like a motherfucker.
She kind of has to sell it, because that was the point. It's just it's just that Asuka didn't do a good job of getting it on her face.
Yeah. Definitely a different way to end this match. It sucks, but that 420 days is now over. But now we have a new champion, and hopefully Belair maybe does a heel turn.
Yeah, we shall see. Doyle, what'd you think of the match, and what do you think the future holds for Bianca Belair now that she's not champion?
It wasn't, again, it kind of similar to the opening match. When you have two top-notch performers, sometimes you expect more than you're going to get, and especially when you have a direct comparison, and this wasn't as good as their WrestleMania match. But I did like the unique use of the mist I thought that was cool. Instead of the same old sprayer in the face, I kind of liked Cole going, "Oh yeah, she learned that from the Great Muta or whatever." I thought that was kind of like a nice little. I always like when they tie in, history somehow. I kind of liked Asuka's gear. Usually, I hate these beekeeper outfits they make the women wear, but Asuka's was kind of cool. It kind of looked like I could see her wearing that.
Keeper outfit. Sorry.
What's that?
Beekeeper outfit. I like that.
Did you guys notice Bianca lost a big chunk of her ponytail?
Yeah.
I kind of, as far as where she's going. Yeah, I mean, the whole Jane Cena thing I keep talking about. But yeah, I mean, I could certainly, especially with these rumors with her and the Street Profits kind of maybe forming a stable and turning heel. I would love to see that. I would love to see her walk out without the ponytail and kind of do a fake pretend to twirl it kind of thing. Like, like kind of like a fuck you to the crowd kind of thing. I think that'll be a fun thing to maybe look forward to. I mean, this was the time. I thought that if there was going to be a title change, this seemed like the most logical one. There's nothing more for her to do with the title at this point, except lose it. Maybe either try to get it back or go do something else and then come try to get it again. In terms of we've kind of wondered what the hell are they doing with the SmackDown champion on Raw and the Raw champion on SmackDown. And I was concerned because Bianca had this long reign with the Raw belt, but now she's on SmackDown. Are they gonna, if they swap the belts, are they gonna set her back to 0 or whatever? Now that that's not a thing, maybe they can either swap the belts, or all Triple H has to do is tweet and just say, "Hey guys, we're gonna leave the Raw belt on SmackDown, and the SmackDown belt on Raw." Boom, the issue is settled. You know what I mean? I still kind of like the idea of renaming them something else. Make one of them the international championship and one of them the global champ. I don't know, whatever. I still kind of like that idea. Then they're not tied to a brand. It doesn't really fucking matter. You don't have to do this swap every couple of years, But I'd give it 3 stars. The match, not as good as a WrestleMania match, but that match was fucking really good. So a lot to live up to.
Yeah. I think I'm kind of with y'all that I think she's probably due for a heel turn. The crowd hasn't been as over for her as they have been in the
she's
past.
had stuff to do.
Although admittedly, her last 2 title defenses have been on, against under unique circumstances. Because at Backlash, she was taking on Io Sky in Puerto Rico, and Io has a strong connection to Hispanic crowds due to her time competing in Mexico in the 2010s. So that led to Io being way over, which is something that probably the WWE didn't factor in. And then obviously here in Saudi Arabia, Asuka's still like been kind of over with crowds for a while because they want to see her win, and they've gotten that. So there could be some element of is it just circumstances as to why crowds have kind of been a little sour on Bianca lately, or is this a real thing? I kind of lean towards it being a bit of a real thing. Not saying that they've completely turned on Bianca, but they are just less enthused by her, and that is that you could partially attribute that to the length of her reign. Well, I won't say the length of her reign, just the lack of her having anything else to really do with the title, I think is more so it. I don't think people are necessarily hating on how long she's been champion. There probably are some people who have been hating on how long she's been champion for reasons I won't get into. But yeah, I think what's next for her is probably some sort of heel turn. I think if she does it, that should come with a new look. I agree with you, Doyle. She probably should let go of the ponytail if she does it and just go with her natural hair, which is, I believe, pretty long in and of itself. And I think that would be.
Imagine if she cuts it like on like TV, like just be like
cut off the ponytail. That would be something interesting.
That you'd have to do that in a match, man. I mean, you can't just give that away.
Somebody.
I don't think she necessarily has to, because
if she was going to
Bailey
cut
did.
TV,
Yeah, I mean Bailey didn't lose her hair in a match, did she? She just came out with a new look.
Yeah, that was completely shocking as well.
Right, and that changed everything for Bailey. That took her to a whole nother level.
No, I just mean if you're going to cut her hair on TV, that's all. If she goes away and comes back with a new look, that's one thing. That's what I think she should do.
Shock factor being more if she cut it live. I'd be like, I would myself be like, oh my God, like I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to her doing it live. I just don't want it to be the consequence of a match. I don't those old gimmicks like the hair versus hair matches and stuff like that. That stuff can just stay in the past. That I don't want to see that happen. I would just rather it be her choice, and she's like, she decides, I'm not y'all's fan favorite no more. I'm doing me, yada yada, blah blah blah. Snip, cuts it off, and then. Or just tears it off because everybody knows it's a damn weave. It ain't her actual hair that long. She just rips it out and just leaves it.
I don't know much, but I know not to talk about a black woman's hair. So.
Yeah, but
to speculate on if it's real or not.
It's not. Anybody who follows her on IG knows that what her actual hair length is, which is why I said she's got good length hair on her own. Her natural hair, I believe, goes down to her shoulders or past her shoulders just naturally. Yeah. It just, ain't a whole Rapunzel thing. So yes, but it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for Bianca and Asuka as well. Now that Asuka is champion, and she's going to be the one everybody guns for. Do they keep Asuka as a heel, or do they slowly transition her to a face if crowds start to cheer her? We shall see.
I've long said the only thing missing from Bianca's game is versatility, which is something she will certainly, hopefully, have the opportunity to show us. Can she be good? Can she be bad? Can she be funny? Can she be scary? And if she can be all of those things.
Yeah, and usually heels get more opportunity to be versatile than heels. I mean, than baby faces. Usually baby faces kind of have to stick to a formula, whereas heels usually have much more room to play with. So
also great heels make great baby faces.
Definitely. So after this match, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship match with Natalya challenging Rhea Ripley, which lasted all of 40-something seconds. It was a pointless squash. Rhea Ripley won. And unless y'all have anything to say, we can skip right past it and move on to what happened next.
If you went to the bathroom and you missed this, and it's funny, it's like I almost missed this because I did go to the bathroom. I came back and Natty's entrance was just wrapping up. I did like the part where Dom's yelling at Natty. He's like, "You don't stand a chance." And I was like, pretty much. Just think about this. I understand the big payday, right? Put the big payday aside. I understand that, but okay, you're getting booked for this. You have to get on a plane, fly all the way to Saudi, which we know is not fun. You have to find a place to stay. You have to get an outfit. You have to spend money on your outfit. You have to, prep for this match. All of this for a minute and 10 seconds in the ring.
Yeah, but would you rather have seen 15 minutes? I sure wouldn't have.
It's got to be good money if Natty's willing just to take a fucking L that hard, that quick.
Well, I mean, I think they're making $50 million a pop. I think for these shows, so they got money to throw around. You want me? You're gonna give me $100,000 or whatever bonus to go on a plane? Sure, I'll do
just showing up, And, oh, by the way, it was Natalie's birthday too.
Nice. Right? The best part of the match, I thought, was after when Graves said, "I think the crowd is just shocked at how handsome Dominic is in person."
Oh my God! Yeah. Moving on.
That might have been the line of the night, actually.
Yeah.
Y'all talked about that match longer than the actual match lasted.
1 star. Fuck this.
Yeah, like I said, I had one note for this match: pointless squash. If you're gonna have the match, damn it, at least give them some time. Just have respect.
At least Gunther and Ali had 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Even though we knew Ali was gonna get squashed, as Ali was getting squashed, I'm just like,
stop! He's already dead.
Yeah, this was God. damn near almost borderline disrespectful. But we're not going to linger on this match.
Almost do a sharpshooter.
Yeah, like let's not linger on this match any longer. Move on to the next one, which was Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. Oh, and this match, to me, it was okay. The match itself was okay, but it also made no sense to me. Because you had one spot where Cody got suplexed and was in tremendous pain after landing on his arm after one suplex. They even showed the replay, like, he landed on his arm. Look how much pain he's in. And then right after that, he's beating the shit out of Brock Lesnar with the very same arm that's supposedly in so much pain. And then they're talking about, it's wrapped in titanium.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? That's not a thing.
Yeah, and he's beating the crap out of Brock Lesnar with it. So I'm like, okay, does it hurt or is it titanium? Which one? Pick a side. And then after that, he's in the Kimura lock for an eternity and just, manages to make it to the rope or whatever he did to finally break it. But then the second time he gets put in the Kimura lock, he's out like a light that quick. And then he, passes out and loses, which, yeah, by the way, Brock Lesnar won the match. But yeah, the booking on this just made no sense to me. Other than that, I mean, it was a decent enough match. It was okay. I don't like the fact that Cody had to pass out to lose, though. To me, he should have had to tap. So my question to you guys is the WWE booking Cody Rhodes too strongly? Because, I mean, you got people out here hating on Bianca Belair, calling her, making John Cena comparisons to her because of how strongly she's booked. Meanwhile, we got Cody Rhodes over here seemingly untouchable unless your name's Roman Reigns. And the best that Brock can do is just make him pass out. Brock Lesnar can't even make this guy tap. He's out here beating the crap out of Brock Lesnar with a broken arm, getting wins over Seth Rollins with a torn pec. Like, come on. The guy can lose and be okay. So, yeah. Do you guys think he's being booked too strongly? And what do you think of the match? Doyle, where you at?
Well, I mean, why do we need to do another injury with him? You had a legit injury with a fucking hell of a visual, right? You're not going to get better than that. Why fake it? Why give him this broken arm? I mean, they are doing what I said they were going to do, and what I thought they should do is just put hard times on Cody Rhodes. So they're doing it, but it's just like another injury. We already seen him fight valiantly through an injury. So that kind of didn't make sense. Yeah, titanium cast, come the fuck on. That's not even a thing. And it was like some big revelation, like, oh, I can use this as a weapon. Like, he didn't realize, he didn't think about that. He just, I just got this titanium cast, but too bad I can't do anything with it. I mean, you have one of the biggest stars of the last 20 years. Father's whole gimmick was that he wore a cast for fucking 5 years or whatever, Yeah, not exactly a surprising finish, though. I expected Cody to lose. It was just a matter of how. I think this is definitely part 2 of a trilogy. I think, again, we'll see part 3 at SummerSlam, maybe with a stipulation, maybe a last man standing, maybe a cage, maybe fight pit, something. I don't know. Yeah, it was fine. I didn't hate the finish that much. I don't think. Are you booking Cody too strong? No, I mean, I think making him tap wouldn't have given you interest in a third match. I think, okay, that pretty much settles it. Brock tapped him out. I think now you can have Cody come back and say, he didn't make me quit, blah, blah, blah. I was fighting hurt. Next time I'll be 100%. No. So I expect this to continue. The big monkey wrench, though, would be just, do you give Cody the Money in the Bank? Because that's the next pay-per-view. So I guess, obviously we'll get to speculating on that in due time. But that might be the only reservation I would have with this feud continuing is what happens if Cody gets that briefcase. But anyway, 3 stars. Wayne.
Yeah, like 3 stars as well. Like, Who the fuck gets a titanium cast to begin with? You know, I have all the times I've ever broke my arms, wrist, elbows, knees, legs, whatever. I never was given the option of a titanium cast, and if I was, I would have taken it. And like I the second they said, and they did multiple interviews where his arm is definitely broken, then why the fuck are you letting him do this match? I mean, like, we all understood why he did it with a torn pec, you know, when he went against Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. We understand why. This one, if that was true, then he totally didn't have to do this. And if you were trying to recreate that moment, you failed. You failed miserably, because I just felt like this was just all a shtick. And
sometimes truth is better than fiction, right?
Yeah, you know, and protect him. And it's like I thought he was just gonna take the L without the arm injury, but you have to injure him for him to take the L. Like, he had to get jumped on Raw, you know, multiple times by Brock Lesnar to justify this loss. It's Brock fucking Lesnar. Like, you know, I know eventually Brock has to start putting guys over when he's getting up in that age where he's gonna actually retire soon. I understand he's got to put guys over, but like, come on now, like, Brock should have gotten a clean win over this, no problem. You know, I even called
exactly.
Like, he's gonna tap out, and how's he gonna tap out? The Kimura lock with the arm that he's injured all week. Like, it's just okay. Is this feud over now? Can we move on to something else if that's the case? Or are we going to get a rubber match now? Most likely a rubber match. You know, Cody, we're going to wait till Cody's arm is healed, and we'll probably see these two at SummerSlam. I like to see Cody do something else. You know, maybe for the world title feud, or maybe hell. You know what? Fuck it. Let's see him go against Gunther. Why the fuck not? You know, is it beneath him at this point? I don't fucking know. But this match only went on for 9 minutes and 40 seconds. 9 minutes. You know, Asuka and Bianca got like almost twice the amount of fucking time. You know, we could have gotten a stellar match out of this, and all the time went into our main event. Maybe this should have been the one to open up the show, you know? But it was kind of predictable.
Matches were the main event.
Huh?
I said half the matches were the main event.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like, I felt like I saw this coming. They kind of laid it all out on the Raw before, like, injuring his arm, and I just think maybe he just shouldn't have wrestled at all, and then when Brock was looking for somebody else, maybe we should have gotten somebody else. Hey, maybe that would have been a great time to do Gunther versus Brock Lesnar, you know? The ring general versus Brock Lesnar instead of.
Oh no, they're not wasting that on the Saudis. No offense to the Saudis, but
no, they're not gonna waste that. But instead, we got Gunther versus Ali and Brock versus a broken arm Cody Rhodes. You know, no, take the L, Cody. You've taken the L multiple times already. Hell, you took it at WrestleMania. You know, your story's already finished.
I mean, that's kind of the only L he's really taken, though. That's why I kind of think they're booking him too strongly. The only real loss he suffered has been at WrestleMania. He got a clean sweep of Seth Rollins. He gets beat to all hell by Brock Lesnar going into this match. And you're telling me Brock fucking Lesnar, the guy that y'all just said was the most decorated combatant in what, MMA history or fighting history or some combat sport history and all that shit, and he can't make Cody Rhodes with a broken arm tap? You shitting me?
Well, I mean, if you're a Cody is going to be the one. If you're a Cody is going to be the one to beat Roman Truther, you got to keep Cody strong. You have.
One match ain't gonna kill that though. One tap out doesn't kill all that momentum. Especially to Brock Lesnar, it's not like Akira Tozawa made him tap. It's Brock fucking Lesnar. This is the guy that y'all keep bringing back and only putting in high-profile feuds with the top people. And to Brock's credit, Brock still looks like $1 million fucking bucks in the ring.
Right.
If anybody can credibly make him tap, it's Brock Lesnar. If Seth Rollins can sit here and take all them damn L's he took and still look just as strong as he always has, Cody Rhodes can tap out one fucking time and be okay and still be strong, especially if since that would just tie up the feud, and we're probably going to get a rubber match to break the tie, which will more than likely see Cody Rhodes come out on top once and for all. He could have tapped, and it would have been just fine. It seems like they're doing too much to try to protect Cody. Like they're afraid of any slight little flaw and Cody's just, and all of a sudden he just tumbles down to the bottom of the sack. Like, no,
I just feel like tapping out is a definitive loss, whereas passing out is okay. Now we need to have a third match to really see.
It's no more of a definitive loss than a 3 count, which is what Brock Lesnar suffered in the first one.
Yeah,
and
but it's still more 3 count.
It's still a 3 count. 3 count tap. A L is still a L. If it's 2 people in the ring and don't nobody else get involved and you lose, that's a clean loss.
Do you guys think that this is a long shot? Do you guys think that Triple H is the one that sent him after Cody?
No,
because I don't know. The other night, it just looked like the way Triple H was grinning and stuff behind Cody's back. Like, I know Triple H can't wrestle anymore, but he can definitely send somebody after him. I don't know
think so.
The connection between the two. I may be just overthinking this.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't see Triple H trying to insert himself back onto television like that. He seems like he's focused on the current stars who are actually wrestling and letting them play the parts of the storyline. I don't know that he wants to do that authority thing again or try to be like the modern Vince McMahon in that regard. I don't think that's Triple H's interest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did that for about 20 years,
That too.
It's just like, I mean, we haven't really had that for a couple years at this point. But yeah, I wouldn't be in a hurry to go back to that either.
Yeah. All right. Well, leaving that match behind, we're down to the last match of the night, which was the tag team match for the undisputed tag team championships, featuring Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa challenging Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This match was, I think, pretty easily the best match of the night, even if it was, from a wrestling standpoint, pretty much standard fare of what to expect with bloodline matches. They're good matches. They don't suck. But all the drama isn't really in the match itself. The drama is in the stuff surrounding the match. And this match absolutely delivered on that one and took the drama up a notch. Because we saw the Usos at one point get involved in this match, despite the fact that Roman said that they were not to be there. And yet they showed up anyway, jumping Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, trying to take out trying to take out Sami Zayn with a twin super kick, missing and hitting Solo Sikoa, dropping his ass like Huh?
That was Kevin Owens. They were trying to super kick.
It was KO in the ring that they tried to hit the double?
He ducked, and they super kicked Solo.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Sami Zayn that they were trying to double. But either way, they kicked the shit out of Solo Sikoa, dropped him like a bad habit. Roman Reigns saw that and was none too happy. Got up in the ring, got all up in Jimmy's face, gave him the mush. Got up in Jay's face, gave him the mush. And that's when Jimmy said, "Bitch, you got me fucked up. Eat this foot." Take this foot to the face. Much to Jay's surprise. Jay's like, "What the fuck is you doing, bro?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. I'm sick of this shit. I got you." Have another one, Roman. Whew. Boy, oh boy, the drama continues. This is Emmy-worthy storytelling. So, the only question left after this match is, what now? Wayne.
I'll tell you what, match of the fucking night for me. The only match I was looking forward to, because, like you said, Emmy, this whole story has been fucking great, and we've been seeing the cracks in the foundation of the bloodline, and we definitely saw it crumble tonight. I was really thinking to myself, holy shit, like what if they would put the titles on Solo and Roman? Like, what a way to piss off so many people, right? To give the guy who's barely there 4 fucking titles. Way to hoard all these titles and just take them all. That would piss off so many people, and I believed it. For a hot second, I was like, this could actually happen. I did like, there was a point very early in the match. There was a point where Sammy was trying to chop Roman in the chest, and he's like, "Who do you think you are, the Nature Boy?" Roman hit 1,000 days on this day, which is great. For him, 1,000 days in the modern day. That's in the past 50 years. That's insane. We had a lot of good spots. We had Kevin Owens hitting the stunner on Roman, which turned around into a very aggressive spear. And once the spearing to the ref happened, that's when I went on the Discord. I was like, here we go. Here now, some weird shit's about to go down. Then the Usos come out, then they take Owens and they bury him under the announce table. So I thought Owens was just out of the match for good. Then when Owens got back in, we got the double super kick to Solo. So I was like, oh, so it connected. So the damage has been done. Just Jimmy and Jay just being pushed to their fucking limits with Roman, and Roman, get the hell out of my ring, shoving them both. Just out of anybody, family or not, you push these guys too fucking far. And, we gotten promos in the past weeks with Owens and Sammy telling them, everything Roman tells you to do, you guys do. He says jump, you say how high, basically. And it's so true, And he says, you guys were one of the greatest. Or, no, wait, let me correct that. Are the greatest tag team. They admit that. And they were. They were, one of the greatest fucking tag team of this era. Basically untouchable. Ending, beating such great feuds with like the New Day. The New Day used to be up to par with those guys, and they buried the New Day eventually. They took the titles off of Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. That's another great tag team they took the titles off, and they were just unstoppable for so long until WrestleMania. So, and if you've been following this story for so long, I mean, we think back to the times that Roman beat the shit out of both of them individually and put them both in their fucking place to where they were to form the bloodline. But it just got to the point where it's just like, we're not taking any more shit. And I could very well see maybe SummerSlam or even Money in the Bank being the Usos versus Solo and Roman. And then eventually we're probably going to get Solo turning against Roman, and then Roman's gonna be left all by himself. Hell, I would rather see Paul Heyman go with Solo Sikoa. I mean, that's probably the perfect pairing right there. Roman's just losing everything, and once he loses the bloodline, the last thing he probably has is those titles, and then that's what he'll go. I guarantee he'll probably go into WrestleMania alone. If that's the case, if they're going to have him hold on to it till WrestleMania, he'll probably go in alone. He's going to lose everything. And when you don't have the bloodline behind you, when you don't have Paul Heyman in your corner, when you don't have Solo Sikoa to back you up, you're done. He's done. He's gonna lose it all. And we always thought that it was going to be the titles first and then the bloodline, but no, it's the bloodline's gonna be the first thing to go, and then he's gonna be left all alone. And I was, this is great for Sammy being able to come to Saudi. This is him and Owens. Never thought I would ever see them in Saudi Arabia doing a show like this. Sammy got huge fucking pop, biggest pop of the night. Coming in this entrance, for me, best match of the night. It left me satisfied. A huge shock at the end of who won, and the Usos finally just turning on Roman and super kicking the shit out of him, and just getting the hell out of Dodge after that. I'm just so excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Sami Zayn was definitely super over with the crowd, given that he actually is, the child of Syrian immigrants to Canada, and he came out there in their attire, spoke to them in their language. Sami Zayn got more street cred with the Saudis than Mustafa Ali did.
Mm-hmm.
But Doyle, where you at on this one?
Yeah, I mean, some of the little things about these matches are just so great. I loved right at the beginning, Roman kind of swatted at Sammy with one of his belts during the introductions. That was kind of fun. And it's just like it's the little things. We talked about these bloodline matches are kind of getting formulaic, and they are, but they're still so good. And one of the hallmarks is kind of becoming this long, drawn out section at the beginning where nobody even touches. I think it was about 3 or 4 minutes in this match where nothing happened. You know what I mean? But the crowd, that's how much these guys really have the crowd in the palm of their hand. And it doesn't appear to matter where on planet Earth it happens. It wasn't just because it was Montreal. It wasn't just because it was WrestleMania. It was, this seems to be, that's great work if you can get it. These matches don't have to have these crazy spots with people flying off ladders and going through tables and taking chair shots or whatever. They're really fucking simple. And, keep it simple, stupid is sometimes, the best course of action. I mean, it's somewhat predictable. I think everybody knew the Usos were going to get involved, even though they were told to, especially because they were told to not show up. It was just a question of how they were going to be involved. Was it Jay that gave in and got them into the bloodline because he was trying to save Jimmy, or is it the other way around?
I think it was Jay, because Jimmy was injured.
Oh, yeah.
Jay was the one facing Roman. That's how he got the nickname Main Event Jay.
Yeah, like they're kind of blood in, right? So they're going to be blood out. So I would absolutely expect the Usos versus Roman and Solo. Probably at SummerSlam, I guess. I mean, that continues to put off Roman having to defend, and I could see him maybe rolling into Smack that, if Adam Pearce says you have to defend your title, blah, blah, blah. And he goes in and, defends against Corbin or, somebody shitty. What was that? Where was I going with this? Oh, okay. But I think, and again, I said this earlier, I think Money in the Bank could be really interesting if one of the Usos wins the briefcase, or what if Solo Sikoa wins the briefcase? Things could get really hairy going forward. There's a lot. Sometimes, some years, it seems like super obvious. Obviously, we don't even know who's going to be involved in the match yet, but sometimes it seems super obvious who the Money in the Bank winner is going to be.
Or
but
should
this year, I mean, obviously, once we see the actual participants, maybe it will be. I don't know. But right now, shit, it seems like they could go so many different directions. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, the whole point is to keep you looking forward to the next one, right? And they certainly did that. So, yeah, it's a 4-star match for me.
Yeah, I think the only course left for the Bloodline as far as feuds goes is for them to feud with each other, because again, they feuded with everybody else, and this tag team match did kind of put a final cap on Sami Zayn and KO feuding.
Yeah, I hope now they can move on and go do other stuff.
Yeah, they should definitely move on and go on with other stuff. I mean, the final note from Sami to Roman was, it's over now. It's over. It's all coming down to an end. So, they've kind of knocked the tower over, and it's all gonna come crashing down now, apparently. So, yeah, I believe we're entering, hopefully, in my opinion, the final chapter of the Bloodline saga, which is obviously their internal fighting and them feuding with each other. I'm certain there probably will be a tag team match at some point. I don't know if it's going to be SummerSlam. I think it may happen sooner, because I saw a report. I don't 100% remember where, but it talked about the upcoming dates that Roman is currently booked for. And I believe one of them is obviously this upcoming week. I believe this upcoming SmackDown for the 1,000-day celebration, which is going to be very interesting now, given what happened at this pay-per-view. But I believe he's also booked for Money in the Bank and SummerSlam as well. I think he is currently slated to appear at both pay-per-views. So I think we might see the Usos versus Solo and Roman at Money in the Bank. Mm-hmm. And then we'll get a Roman title defense against somebody at SummerSlam. I'm not predicting that Roman's going to lose at SummerSlam. I'm just saying I think that's going to be his next major title defense. If not, some point in between perhaps on another episode of SmackDown or some sort. But I think that's the course we're probably heading towards as far as Roman and the title defenses and the Bloodline feud. Any final thoughts on this pay-per-view?
Nah, I mean, I guess like the only legend we had back at this one may have been Trish. Normally they try to pull anybody out of retirement, or you know what I mean? Like, or we get some crazy matches that involve Goldberg of some kind or the Undertaker. It's just weird not to have those kind of matches and to see something like this that has more female matches than we're used to.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say it's kind of been strange to see the evolution of the Saudi shows.
And
they were basically glorified house shows at first.
Yeah,
and really the only thing of note that ever happened was Titus O'Neil falling under the ring. You know, but now stuff actually happens at him. That's important. It's like a quote unquote normal pay-per-view for all intents and purposes at this point.
Yeah, I think that's credit to them having slowly working on the Saudis and possibly some credit to Triple H, and since they're like, look, we're gonna keep putting on these shows. We got our own product to worry about. We got, things we got to deal with. We can't just be doing this random cockamamie shit for y'all just because y'all happy with it.
Yokozuna is dead.
Right, and y'all will be
a warrior. We can't bring it back.
Yeah, giving them, convincing them to understand that you're going to get a much better show if you let us book it with what we currently have, rather than just making this some one-off thing that people don't care about. So, credit to them for the evolution of these Saudi shows over time. If nothing else to talk about on the show, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with a little bit of news from Wayne.
Yeah.
No, I was only thinking about your happiness.
I know, Dad, and I appreciate it.
The problem now is that these people are expecting a show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
Nice to see you. It's been a long time. You're just as lovely as you used to be.
All right, and we are back. We've taken our pee breaks. We've refilled our alcoholic beverages. I am drinking a rum and coke.
I'm drinking water because I don't drink anymore, barely.
All right. Well, Doyle, what are you drinking?
I'm also drinking water, which is unlike me, but I'm California sober. If you know what I'm saying.
I feel weird. I'm like the only one getting rickety wrecked here. But it's Saturday night, and it's Memorial Day weekend. So, I'm
still living the high life. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I also have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive to the airport. So.
Oh, well,
there's a 5 in the morning too.
Huh?
I said there's a 5 in the morning also.
There was just celebrating that 420-day rain, huh? That 420 rain.
That's what I'm doing. Yep.
All right, let's All right, let's get to some breaking news.
Good news, everyone.
Oh wait, that's not the news intro. It's this one. I hit the wrong button. Okay, man, have we had a shitload of injuries as of late? So, Liv Morgan wrecked her shoulder at a recent SmackDown, and then not even a week later, Dakota Kai tore an ACL, could be out for 6 to 9 months. So
I thought that was the same match.
I actually
That's what I heard. I heard it was the same
it was
match.
the same match, which kind of sucks. Like the same fucking match, and you got two women, getting destroyed here, hurting themselves and gonna be out for quite some time, and to the point where they had to, relinquish the title, the women's tag titles.
I thought they were finally getting on the right track with the women's tag division. And
So did I.
All of a sudden, it just went into chaos.
Yeah,
people I had kind of counted on to being major players in the division.
Yeah, I mean, Liv and Rhea were starting to come together as a tag team. They were matching their outfits better and beginning to look, legit.
Yeah, and
it looked like Dakota and Bayley were going to be a tag team, maybe, and Io was going to maybe go do her own thing. And now I think that's probably off the table, at least for a little while.
Yeah.
They stuck Shotzi in there with Raquel, who's they're on Raw, but Shotzi's on SmackDown. So we're already, the brand split is fucking out the window again.
Like I said, that shit wasn't even gonna last. The brand split, the draft. I mean, they've already started to make it sound like a fucking joke.
Right.
But there's so many other women on this roster now they're having a tag team tournament, which I assume is going to be going to Ronda and Shayna Baszler, for sure. I don't know if you guys saw the other night when Ronda came out. Her and Shayna attacked Raquel on the stage. Ronda came out and did like a drop kick almost, and she ate shit on the ramp, on the stage. But I thought she like twisted her leg, like really hurt herself. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, you better not hurt your fucking self over something so fucking stupid, Ronda. Because that would have been funny, like 3 women out, over the same titles. Maybe these titles are bad luck.
I don't know. But the rumor is that I think there's a rumor out there that Ronda might be taking some time off soon again as well. So I don't even know. I don't think it's a surefire thing that they're going to win the belts.
She just came back. Like, she just took time off.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt.
What's that, Doyle?
Oh, I heard the same rumor. It just doesn't make much sense to me. She's just gone for a little while.
So look, give it to Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, 2 heels that nobody wants to be champions, huh?
You know what? I love Chelsea Green. I think she's fucking hilarious. Sonya is pretty good. She's not great, but she's pretty good. But Chelsea Green is really starting to grow on me. She's really funny.
I got a nice autographed picture of her up on my wall here behind me. One of the many wrestling autograph photos I have hanging up behind me. Yeah, that's a possibility. Also in news, Mercedes Moné, also known as Sasha Banks, broke her ankle the other night. It was in a New Japan Pro Wrestling match, Reassurance, on May 21st. She was supposed to win the match, and she injured her ankle and had to be carried out by a very, very lucky man. So that sucks for her. Gonna be out for a while. Even though she was supposed to win that title, it doesn't look like she's gonna be wrestling again anytime soon. It's a broken ankle. It's not even sprained or anything. It's broken. So that's another injury we have out.
Have you guys seen the girl that won the match, Willow Nightingale? They pivoted in the I guess they called it on the fly to make her win. But she's great. If you haven't seen her, I would suggest. She's on AEW. I think she might be on Ring of Honor. I guess now she's in New Japan also. I can't kind of keep track of some of these things. A lot of these indie, or not even indie, but AEW people seem to appear for all kinds of other promotions as well. So it's kind of hard to keep track of. But she's great. She's actually someone I would love to see WWE go after if and when she becomes available. I think she's just great.
Yeah. I also heard this might have been a little late though. That Mickie James got injured as well, and she had to relinquish her title on Impact Wrestling. It's just like these people are just injuring them. These wrestlers are just injuring themselves left and right here, and having to give up titles, which really suck. You know, just are they? There's is it age? Is it these wrestlers are trying to up one another? You know, doing these crazy spots, maybe just getting too confident, getting sloppy. Something. It's just a string of bad luck injuries right now, in pro wrestling. I mean, males and female across the board. A recent report, you know, I think we discussed it last episode about Randy Orton possibly not wrestling again. His doctors advised him that he shouldn't wrestle again. And along with that, John Cena said, you know, his body just can't take it anymore. And like he just might have to stop wrestling altogether. And you know, like when you sit back and look at that, these are two wrestlers who started in 2002, 2003, and like I remember when these guys started their careers, and now they're at the point where like they're winding down, they're retiring, and it's hard to process. It's a hard pill to swallow, you know. You know, I have always seen John Cena as at one point he was the Super Cena. You know, that he was just unstoppable. This man was so close to being a 17-time world champion. And if not him, I thought, you know, Orton was right behind him. He would have been probably maybe the guy to be the 17-time world champion and beat that record. It just blows my mind, you know, looking back at these wrestlers from start to finish of their careers.
Well, you can probably throw my boy Edge on that list too, because he's probably wrapping it up himself. You know, three of them, all three careers are kind of very interconnected. You know, to see them all kind of probably wrapping it up around the same time is kind of fitting.
Yeah, these three guys are just going to walk off into the sunset together. Absolutely. You know, I feel like as fans, we've been there beginning to finish with these guys. And we're very, very lucky to have, you know, like Edge still giving us some matches. I mean, there was a point where we thought he was just done, and that hurt as a fan. Like,
how long was he gone for? He was gone for a long time.
It was a good number of years.
7, 8. How long
years,
was it?
I think it was. I think it was like 8 years.
Yeah, it was a good chunk of time. It wasn't 2 years. You know, 3 years.
8 years is a long time for a wrestling fan. You know. To see somebody like that gone and then to come back oh man, I remember when he came back at the Rumble, like I marked out, like I jumped up out of my chair, like, oh my God, you know, you think you know me. Like as soon as I heard that, I was like, you know, it's like instant I popped because you know what that theme music is. But yeah,
they kept it a secret. No, like nobody. It wasn't one of those like everybody knew about it beforehand. You know, like we all knew Cody was the mystery opponent for Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? Nobody knew Edge was coming out.
And it sucks that like Orton doesn't get. You know, it'd be nice to see Orton go out on his own terms with like a last match. You know, for his last match to be a tag match with Matt Riddle. That sucks. You know, the heel turn against Riddle, I think that would have been a fitting way to go out. Either or of one of them turning heel, I wouldn't care.
Well, Father Time is undefeated. I mean, I know some of us who are older wrestling fans are used to seeing guys wrestle well into their 40s and 50s and beyond because, you know, for a lot of them, they didn't make as much money during the prime of their career because wrestling just wasn't paying as much back then. So they've had to drag their careers out way longer than they ever should have. But in this, you know, new age, this modern,
forced 5 or 6 times.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this modern era of wrestling, these guys make enough to where they can retire at a good age, walk away from it, and be financially good for their life so that they don't have to continue to abuse their bodies in the rings long after they should. So, if this is the end for Orton and Cena and Edge, then kudos to them and thanks for all the memories.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Khan wants SmackDown to go 3 hours. I immediately commented, no, please don't. I really don't want to see SmackDown go to 3 hours. I actually like the 2 hours. It's kind of a relief. It's kind of especially on a Friday, it's like working a shorter shift. I kind of feel like, it's like, once 10 o'clock rolls around, I'm like, oh, awesome. Like I can go to bed early, or like I just have that extra hour now. I could use it to my advantage. So I'm not really fond of the idea of SmackDown going an extra hour. I understand why they're probably going to do it for the money reasons, but come on. I mean, do you guys really think we need an extra hour of WWE? I mean, we already have 3 of Raw, 2 of NXT, and we're talking like 8 hours they're trying to get out of us. He's like, I wish we could have wrestling every day of the week. I'm like, I don't. Not for this podcast, I don't. We covered
Raw's already too long.
Yeah, it's just too long. Like, you know what you should do? Stop spending 60% of your fucking show recapping what happened, and also stop fucking recapping Raw. Like, that shit pisses me off. Like, why are you recapping shit that happened on Raw? I understand you're trying to promote it, and you're kind of doing it a little secretly by having your Raw Women's Champion on your show, but you don't need to fucking repeat stuff and do the same promos of shit we've already seen and treat us like we're idiots. It's just too much time. If you take out all the recaps, just think how shortened it would be. Like, if you ever watch it on Hulu, they cut a 3-hour show down to an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's so great. And sometimes I'll watch it like that. If there's something happens and I end up missing Raw or SmackDown, or I end up falling asleep, I'll recap it on Hulu, and it goes past all the boring shit. Stop recapping. You'll save yourself so much fucking time. Stop treating us like we're idiots, like we weren't there. We were there. So that's my little rant about that SmackDown going 3 hours, because I am not on board. That 1 extra hour, I'm fighting it. July, there's a rumor coming in July that there's going to be some massive roster cuts. So there's going to be some layoffs. We kind of see this every year. After WrestleMania, at some point, there's some roster cuts. I mean, there's a handful of people they could totally let go. There's going to probably be some shocking ones that they might let go. But it's kind of weird because ever since Triple H, quote unquote, has been in charge, he's brought back a lot of people. Bronson Reed, Chelsea Green, Braun Strowman. It makes me wonder now that, Vince is back. He's apparently not leaving until he gives up his job or he dies. Like, that's what he said. Unless I die, I'm gonna be here. So like 90-something Vince could be in a wheelchair being pushed out. Like, where the hell have you been? Like, just, oh my God. Like, geez, this is gonna be terrible.
It's going to be like Weekend at Vince's. They're going to have his corpse. They're going to put sunglasses on his corpse and tie his hand to a string. Oh, yeah, Vince is fine. Look at him sitting at his desk waving. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, like, oh, my God. So, like, I don't specifically know who they're looking to cut. Maybe guys.
Hit Row.
Hit Row recently came back, and they looked like they were going to rob a bunch of people because they had ski mask on. And I was like, that's how you...
Yeah,
you've been gone for a couple weeks. That's how you reboot yourself with a couple of ski masks. I mean, come on. Yeah. If we're looking at people to go, Hit Row can go. Mansoor and Mace, is that his name? They can go.
I want to hold on to them. You talking about maximum male models?
Yes. Yeah.
Nah. They can have a good few with Pretty Deadly.
Oh, I like them.
Also, there's a rumor going around that Pretty Deadly and Austin Theory might form a stable.
Well, they got involved with this match on SmackDown. Right? I
Yeah,
like
they
it. I mean,
did.
like I said, I like them pairing the NXT people up with. I mean, is
Yeah.
Austin Theory a veteran? Maybe not, but it's an established character regardless.
Yeah, they're on Friday Night Snackdown, they call it. Um, okay, that's all I have for happy news. Sad news, Billy Graham passed away at 79 due to organ failure. The the iconic look of Billy Graham, I always thought that, oh, this man copied Hulk Hogan. And later you find out, doing a little bit of research, it was the other way around. Billy Graham was the OG of that look, the blonde mustache, handlebar mustache with the dyed beard. So Hulk Hogan apparently copied Billy Graham. I didn't see a lot of his matches. I guess maybe he wasn't around when I started watching wrestling as a kid. Have you guys ever watched any of Billy Graham's matches as a kid?
I probably did. Okay, go ahead, Doyle. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he was a little before my time. I think he's done in the ring by the late '80s, and at that point, he's just a shell of himself, and he's mostly a manager. I think he was a manager in WrestleMania 2 or 3. I can't remember who I think I want to say he managed Don Morocco or something like that. He wasn't a great wrestler per se. I mean, his whole thing was the presentation. He was a performer, and he was one of the first guys that kind of was like that. Before then it was Bruno, it was Bob Backlund, it was real technicians. You know what I mean? It wasn't. Rarely did you see a character with any kind of flamboyance or even colorful outfits, anything. He was really one of the first guys. I mean, he kind of bit off his whole stick from Muhammad Ali a little bit. He was the man of the hour, the man with the power, too sweet to be sour. And he was one of the first guys that had those catchphrases. And he was one of the first cool heels. But yeah, he was a little before our time, I think, for all of us probably. So he wasn't any of our favorite wrestlers, I don't think, but he was our favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. He definitely had a huge impact. If you're gonna look for a match, I would look for a match. He had a strap match with Dusty Rhodes in Madison Square Garden. That's pretty good. If you're gonna look up, it's on YouTube, I think. If you're gonna look up something, I'd look at that.
Yeah, you could definitely say that Superstar Billy Graham was probably the template for what modern day wrestlers are in terms of, his mic work, his showmanship, and all this, that, and the third. He like Doyle said, he predates pretty much all of us as far as seeing him actively wrestle in his prime. But plenty of his stuff is out there on the internet to be for anyone to look at who wants to see it. And I think it's worth checking out just so you can kind of see where all the guys got it from.
There's a great promo also on YouTube you can find where he lists all the steroids he's going to take in preparation for his match. He's like, I'm going to take 20 milligrams of dexahydrate and 40 milligrams. Should caveat that steroids weren't illegal yet. But it was just like he was right out there with it. And wrestlers were big before him, but he was the first to really, with that bodybuilder kind of look. Right. And he was really the first one that was, he was training with Schwarzenegger. He was a bodybuilder before he was a wrestler. He was friends with Schwarzenegger. He lived the life, man. He was superstar Billy Graham, and what do they call every wrestler now in the WWE? Superstar.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys have any other news that I may have missed or something you want to bring up?
I just saw that Bret Hart got a star on the Canada Walk of Fame, so congratulations to him for that. He's definitely a Canadian icon.
How did he not have one already?
I think I paid for this.
Yeah.
I don't know how Canada's Walk of Fame works compared to like our Hollywood Walk of Fame. So
Oh,
So
we'll
no,
pay.
yeah, you would think he would have already had that, but then again, I don't know. Who knows?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Do you Doyle? Do you want to plug anything before we go?
Oh no, I just want to say we still got a big weekend ahead. You got a NXT pay-per-view going up against AEW pay-per-view tomorrow. It's the first time a major promotion has gone up directly against WWE since WCW, or I guess it might have still been the NWA at the time, ran what was it? Super Clash or something like that against WrestleMania 5, which was like back in '89, I want to say, so it's been a long time since anyone had ran up against them. It'd be kind of interesting to see what the numbers look like.
Yeah. Shit.
But do I have anything to plug? Nah, I'm in the Discord. I'm in the PCL Discord and Facebook page. If you want me, you can find me there. Go C's.
And Dre, I listened to your you were on an episode of Pop Culture Leftovers, and you plugged the podcast. You were great on there, man.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah. Most recent episode of PCL, I was up there with just me with Ryan and Joe.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
how have you never seen They Live?
Horror genre has never really been my get down, so I've never really checked for movies like that back in the day.
I don't think it's a horror movie.
No.
Yeah, just slasher horror genre, just that whole genre just as a whole has never really been my get down.
Maybe we need to do like a party watch and like do like a commentary on it. You know, maybe some WWE wrestlers and films, and maybe just chat it up. You know, tear it apart, tear it to pieces. Yeah. Anything else you want to plug, Dre?
No, nothing else other than that. You can find me in the PCW and PCL Discords under the name Outlaw Star.
We got a review on our PCW website, which you can find at podcastchampionshipwrestling.onpodium.com, which I will, when I make posts on Twitter or on the Discord, I always post like, we got a QR code now. So it's just so much easier to find us. And you can rate and review on the website now. And if you have questions you want to ask us on the podcast, like a subject you want us to talk about, like feel free to like just leave it on there. We got a 5-star from Andrea. Says, definitely one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. The banter, humor, and commentary between Wayne and the crew sets the wrestling podcast apart from all others out there. If you're a fan of wrestling, this podcast is a must. Well, thank you, Andrea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you want your review read on air here, just, read on the podcast, just feel free to leave it on the website because it's out there in the open. You know what? Even if it's a bad one, we'll read it and we'll tear you to shreds. But, we'll read it anyway. We got a lot of fans out there, and I know you're listening. I know you're fucking listening. And you know what? I know, like, guys like Dwayne, I know you're listening. You got to leave a review, man. I always hear people talking about wanting to listen to our podcast, and they listen, but I know you don't leave reviews. You find me when I'm out washing my car, and you ask me, hey, when are you guys dropping another episode? And I should have been like, when you leave a review, that's when I'll drop another episode. But it's just funny to be, somebody to walk up to me and ask me about our podcast. We're moving right along here. We got, a nice website going where every one of our episodes are on there and all our social medias are on there. And the fact that you can ask us a question directly is I think, pretty cool. So, and if you want to reach me, you can find me just about anywhere at Semi-Dry Chicken. I fucking think that's it, guys. That's all I got to plug for this week. So.
And his name is John Cena. Give me what I want. Give me what I want.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Bye. Have a great time.